Hi, it's Davina again. This is my second video, and I'm doing these videos because I really want everybody to know how important it is that HIV is still here and it exists. There are so many of you still sleeping around and not using protection, and you just have to be aware. This is my awareness for everybody. I want everybody to be aware. And if I have to keep making videos to bring this point across, then that's what I'm going to do. This video that I'm going to do today is about when I contracted HIV and how I contracted HIV. It was in 1987. I was 27 years old. I was in a monogamous 10-year relationship. I met my significant other when I was 17, and he was 21 going on 22. We were together 10 years. I had a child at 21. By the time I was 27 years old, we split up. 3 months after we split up, I got a phone call from my twin sister telling me that she had cervical cancer. So I made a phone call to my doctor because cancer runs in my family, so I was really scared. And I made an appointment and went in. I got tested for every venereal disease you can think of. I had tests done for cancer. And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from the nurse. And she told me that all of my tests came back fine. I was good. But the HIV test hadn't came back yet. I was a little scared when she told me that, but she said it was nothing to worry about. The HIV tests sometimes take take longer. So about a week later, I get a phone call to come in. And I sit down and the doctor asked me, how am I feeling? Have I been feeling fine? And I told him yes. He then begins to tell me that I have contracted HIV. I was devastated. I didn't understand. I was scared. I thought that was the end, that I was going to die. And that's because I didn't learn about HIV/AIDS. And pretty much then no one did. We thought that it was a disease for gays, or you contracting it from being an IV drug user. I thought, how? How could I have contracted HIV and I was in a relationship for 10 years? There's just no way. So it took me about an hour to compose myself. I left there and I let my sisters know that I contracted HIV, and I had 3 men that I needed to call, and I let them know. 2 weeks later, come to find out that they didn't have it. My daughter's father, the man that I was in a relationship with for 10 years, refused to go get an HIV test. He said that because I had it, he had to have it. And I thought to myself, there's no way. Just because I have it doesn't mean that you have contracted HIV. It took him a year before he went and got tested. A whole year. Of course, he had it. And 2 years after he found out, he passed away. He had cancer. And on top of his cancer, because his immune system was so low because of the HIV, he ended up catching an AIDS cancer. So he passed away from 2 cancers. He passed away really with not giving me any kind of answers as to how he thought he contracted HIV. I know that he had been to jail and he was a drug user. Was he a IV drug user? No, not that I know of. So this is how I contracted HIV. Being in a relationship. You have to be aware. You have to be careful who you sleep with. Even if you are in a monogamous relationship, your significant other can go and sleep around with anybody and bring HIV home to you, man or woman. There are men who go to prison, sleep with men while they're in prison, contract HIV, get out, go home to their wives, their significant other, meet a woman, have sex with them, and contract HIV, and they will contract HIV. This woman, not knowing that he had it, lives her life, maybe get pregnant, have a baby, the baby contracts HIV. So now she has to find out how this happened. When you meet somebody, you have to ask them to get an HIV test. This is so important, very important. Don't be afraid, embarrassed to ask this person that you are willing to date to get an HIV test. I am so glad I found out that I contracted HIV, because if I didn't, I could have potentially gotten AIDS and I would not be here today. I would not be here. It's not a death sentence, you guys. HIV is not a death sentence. I'm still here. I'm living proof. There are people who have lived 30 years with this virus because of the medication. So it is important that you know your status. If you can find out you have contracted HIV, you can get on medication. If you can get on medication, you can live a long life. I just want everybody to know that it exists still. Open your eyes. Stop sleeping around without using protection. It breaks my heart to find out that people are still running around naive, not thinking that this disease, this virus, doesn't exist. Please do this. And if I have to keep making videos, this is what I'm going to do. I love you guys. Life is so important. Very important. You have to be aware. You have to be aware that it exists. And again, I am proof that you can still live with this. You don't contract HIV from a cup, from eating from silverware, from the bathroom, from hugs, touching, holding hands. It's from blood and from having sex without using protection. That is the only way that you can catch HIV. So please do this for me. Please. I love you guys. And I want you to live a good life. Know your status. You have to. HIV still exists. And this is what it looks like. See you next time. My next video.